Welcome to Animated Movie Recaps. An adventurous teenager sails out on a daring mission to save her people. During her journey, she meets a once mighty demigod, who guides her in her quest to become a master wayfinder. Together they sail across the open ocean on an action-packed voyage, encountering enormous monsters and impossible odds. Along the way, she fulfills the ancient quest of her ancestors, and discovers the one thing she always sought, her own identity. This is the plot behind the 2016 animated feature film, Moana. The film opens with a woman's voice explaining the history of the world. When the planet began, it was only one vast ocean. Then came the first island, Te Whitu, a goddess who laid down in the middle of the ocean to become a lush landmass. At the center of the island is a green gem that brings life to the world, until, as Grandma Tala explains, the mischievous and brazen demigod, Maui arrived. Using his magic fish hook, he shapeshifted into different forms to make his way through the island, and stole the heart of Te Whitu. Immediately, the island began to fade and die off. As he fled the island, Te Kā, a giant lava monster goddess who also wanted the heart of Te Whitu, hits Maui with one of her fireballs as he tried to make his escape. The heart of Te Whitu was lost in the sea, and Maui was not seen again since. This is all revealed to be a story Grandma is telling a group of little children. They all seem scared except young Moana, who wanders to the ocean. The ocean has a mind of its own and begins leaving shells that lead Moana into the water, where the water holds up the heart of Te Whitu. Moana reaches for it, but then her father, Chief Tui, comes looking for her, and the ocean pushes Moana back to shore, and the heart of Te Whitu goes missing again. The first song, Where You Are, shows Moana growing up on the island of Motunui, always wanting to wander and explore the sea, but Chief Tui teaches her his philosophy that happiness is where you are. They do not leave the island under any circumstances, and they have everything they need on the island. She is being groomed to be the chief someday and must follow the rules. Grandma, who the village thinks is a little bit crazy, encourages Moana to follow her heart first and foremost. Moana is now a teenager with a pet pig, Pua, and a chicken named Hei Hei, who is incredibly stupid and doesn't even know what to eat. Moana has accepted her father's rules and seems at peace with them. But then she sings How Far I'll Go, a song about how she feels the ocean calls to her, how she wants to explore how far it goes, and how it's hard for her to be the perfect daughter to her father when what she wants to do is answer the call of the sea. Bad news begins coming in from the people of Motunui. The harvested coconuts are black and rotten on the inside, and there have been no fish to catch for the village. Moana suggests sailing out farther to find more fish, and her father gets incredibly mad at her, screaming at her that he thought she was through with this. Moana's mother, Sina, explains to her that her father is just protective of her, because when he was a young man, he and his best friend also sailed far out, and the waters were raging so hard that his friend drowned. They stay on the island for their protection. Fed up, Moana decides to prove her father wrong by sailing out to sea. She heads out onto the waters accompanied by Pua, but they are nearly killed by the turbulent sea. Moana is dejected and decides to give up on her dream of seeing what's out there on the sea, and her grandma seems to let her. When Moana asks why she isn't going to try to stop her, her grandma tells her that when she dies, she will come back as a manta ray. Moana finally gives in and asks what her grandma wants, so she takes her to a cave where rocks and boulders block the entrance. Moana goes inside and discovers a fleet of ships. After banging the drums at the helm, she sees visions of her ancestors. In the song We Know the Way, she discovers her people were voyagers, sailing across the seas and making discoveries. Moana is thrilled and asks her grandma what changed. She explains that once the heart of Te Whitu was removed, the world became dangerous and deadly, and now even their remote island isn't safe. Once again, the ocean offers the heart of Te Whitu to her, and Moana is thrilled about this, until her grandma falls severely ill. She rushes to her bedside, where grandma urges her to leave immediately on a voyage to find Maui and restore the heart of Te Whitu. She tells Moana the only way to save the village. She can find Maui by following the Hook constellation. Moana cries and tells Grandma she doesn't want to leave her, but Grandma explains that she will always be with her. She gives her a necklace to keep the heart in. Moana is leaving, and her mother catches her going but hugs her and lets her go. Moana sails out to sea and sees the spirit of a manta ray leading her way. This means Grandma has died. Moana discovers that Hei has accidentally stowed away on the ship. The waters become rough one night, and Moana crashes on a tiny island. At first, she is mad at the ocean for being so harsh, but she discovers she has found Maui, who has been stranded on the island for 1,000 years. She confronts him and explains her plan to undo the damage he did, but Maui explains he's not the bad guy, he's the hero of men. He sings You're Welcome, a song explaining how he brought fire, built the sky, and lassoed the sun for humans, and that they should be thanking him. He has tattoos of every one of his accomplishments. He gets Moana on board with his song, then traps her in a cave and steals her boat. She escapes and catches Maui before he's too far out to sea. He keeps throwing her overboard, but the ocean immediately plops her back on the boat. As they argue, 3 ships filled with Kakamora, little cute but dangerous gremlin-like pirates, begin attacking their boat, wanting to steal the heart of Te-Whītu. Hei swallows it, and they kidnap him. Maui is ready to leave, but in a big action sequence, Moana rescues Hei and manages to get the Kakamora to crash. Maui is impressed. Moana convinces Maui that if he does return the heart, he will be a hero to the people exactly like he wants, so he agrees, on the condition that they retrieve his hook, which he lost. Without it, he can do no magic and can't shapeshift. Tamatoa, a giant crab who loves collecting rare and valuable artifacts, has the magic hook Maui is looking for. He leads Moana, who is not the best sailor, to a tall mountain, which is the entrance to Lalatai, the realm of monsters. He assumes Moana will wait with the boat and is surprised when she follows him to the entrance. They drop into the monster-filled world, and Moana sees the hook on a treasure pile. She attempts to steal it, but the pile moves. It is revealed to be Tamatoa's shell. He's sassy and vain and obsessed with shiny things. He sings a song called Shiny as he attempts to eat Moana. Maui tries to get his hook, but Tamatoa puts up a fight. Maui finally gets it, and still can't shapeshift. He's devastated, and Tamatoa is about to kill him when Moana holds up the heart of Te-Whītu, the shiniest prize ever, and uses it to distract Tamatoa. She lets Tamatoa get it, and she and Maui escape. Maui says they have to go back for the heart, but Moana reveals she covered a rock in the bioluminescent seafloor. It was a fake. Back on the boat, Moana asks Maui about something Tamatoa said about wanting to please the humans who rejected him. She notices his tattoo of a woman throwing a baby into the ocean. Maui refuses to talk about it, but after Moana persuades him, he finally admits he was born human. His parents didn't want him and threw him into the ocean, which saved him, made him a demigod, and gave him powers. Moana realizes that's why he's always been trying to please humans. Maui wants to give up since his magic doesn't even work, but Moana convinces him to keep trying. He practices his magic while teaching Moana how to navigate the oceans, and she becomes very good at it. They finally reach Te-Whītu, knowing the hardest part is going to be getting past Tekā, who emerges from the rocks fiery and angry. Tekā is made of fire and cannot touch the water, but Maui is hit, damaging his hook. They are forced to retreat. Moana says they must go back, but Maui gives up, furious. If his hook takes one more hit, it will be destroyed, and he will have no more powers. He wants to quit, but Moana tells him she can't do it alone. He can't believe he was stupid enough to think Moana could be the chosen one. Moana pleads that the ocean chose her, and Maui coldly says it chose wrong. He shapeshifts into a bird and flies away. Moana is heartbroken and tells the ocean to take the heart back. She tells the ocean it has the wrong girl and lets the heart begin sinking. Just then, the manta ray comes through the water and appears to her as Grandma. Moana tells her she can't do it, and Grandma tells her that it's okay if she wants to go home. She asks Moana who she is, and Moana sings I Am Moana and realizes that the call to action wasn't coming from the ocean, it was inside her heart. She knows what she must do. She dives back into the water and gets the heart. The next day Moana uses her sailing skills to take on Tekā. She wages battle against her, managing to get past her defenses. In a pivotal moment, she loses the heart, but hey, in his one moment of helpfulness, grabs it with his mouth, saving it. Furious, Te Kā gets ready to deliver a lethal fireball when Maui appears. Moana is relieved he returned, and he urges her to keep going while he distracts Te Kā. He protects Moana enough to get her to the Te Whitu shore, but Te Kā sadly destroys his hook. Moana climbs over the rocks to put the heart of the island back in place and discovers that it's gone. Te Whitu is nowhere, it's just water. She is confused but then realizes that Te Whitu became Te Kā without her heart. She tells Te Kā that this isn't who she is. She orders the ocean to part so Te Kā can reach her and places the heart back inside her. Te Kā transforms back into beautiful Te Whitu, green and full of life. The death of the planet is stopped. Te Whitu is grateful and gives Maui a new magical hook. Maui thanks Moana for helping him and even gets a new tattoo, one of the strong young women has come to know. Moana returns home and discovers it has been restored. Her family is happy to see her, and the fleet of ships is released so her people can become explorers again. Moana leads the fleet to sea, teaching her people how to navigate the ocean.